trustees of the Village of North Bennington. We have here in person trustees Creedy, Molyneux, Rogers. On Zoom is trustee Patterson. Oh,
Not used to somebody on this side of the table.
trustee Lowry is here. My apologies. I'm looking this way.
So you can move over to
Yeah.
the side.
And then also in person, we have our treasurer and our zoning administrator. And on Zoom, we have clearly our clerk, Cat TV, and resident, Robert Noah. So, first, there is no other.
And Matt, did you mention Matt?
Yeah.
You mentioned it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, Matt Patterson. Okay.
Thank you. So we do have two amendments to the agenda, if that is okay with all of you. One is to invite the students from Vermont Student Anti-Racism Network, who are going to be talking to us about North Bennington hosting a Black History Month festival. So we will add them on, and I invited them to come shortly after 7 o'clock here. The second agenda item to add is that there will be an executive session. This was requested this afternoon by Steve Goodrich, Chair of the Water Commissioners, and he has a matter to discuss. So we will add that on. Not with us today, however, is Mr. LeBlanc. He sent me a report, which I will read out to you, and then Lori, I will send that report to you. So if there are no other questions or comments or changes to that agenda, Kim Hall is coming in. Lori Kim is now joining us as well. Okay, so first, the next order of business is to review and approve the minutes of our November meeting and the December 3rd special meeting. Did we have any questions or comments, and should we take these individually or together? Lori, does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Right, I'll move that we approve the minutes of November 12th, 2024 meeting and the special meeting on December 3rd, 2024.
okay. Lori, that was Ray making the motion to accept both. Tara, seconding that, assuming that there were no other questions, all in favor.
Aye.
Okay, moving right along. If Doug does not mind, I'm going to read out the highway report, and then we can move into the warrants and directly into the treasurer's
Sounds fun.
thing. Okay, so Norm said he is unable to make it tonight. He has a school board meeting, which may be it's very long on a project that they're working on that is near and dear to his heart. So he will send this report ahead of time. He said winter operations have started and they seem to be going okay. There's not much to report, he says, except he wishes the winter would just stay if it's actually going to be here and not come and go and warm up like we have here. He says that they are working on installing the culvert on Welling Road. This is one of the grants that we have. We have about $14,000 on that grant, so he can get that project done. There will be one more thing for the spring. He has spoken with the power company on the Church Street project. He said we don't have any movement on that specifically yet, but it should go forward without a hitch. And he has been in contact with the tree warden and someone with the Fund for North Bennington, that's Mr. McGovern, on trees that need to be removed on Park Street once he moves over there. He said he will get a big cutter over there. There's a couple of dead ones. And there's some that are just very deceased and dying. he said they might pop them out at the same time, and that project will be going. He has copies, was awaiting and has received copies of the water main maps, that are over there on Park Street, so ditching now should not be a problem. He spent some time with the Agency of Transportation and laid out where the ditch will have to go over there. So it looks like that is working through. He's going to try to get a culvert through a driveway, so it won't require some digging, and gonna do some trees and brush cutting on both sides of the road. Thank you very much. That was Norm's report.
That culvert's on Park Street.
The first culvert is the one under the driveway.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. So, and yes, and then in the spring, the other culvert that will be grant project will be the one down
in the park.
in the park.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was very quick for that. If we do have questions for Norm, let me know. I can send him an email in the morning. Otherwise, we will just move on. And we'll move to the warrant and the payment of bills. And Doug, take this in any order you wish.
Okay, I have payroll warrant on the top here. So payroll for the month of November was $14,433.64. Nothing out of the ordinary, 2 pay periods, 1 half flat. The only quick note I will make is we did not have fees in the month of November from our payroll company. Myself, Lori, and Mary have been dealing with some issues with the payroll company that are hopefully resolved / ongoing. So the future meeting will probably have a more in-depth discussion about that. But one of the resolutions was they were giving us basically a month free of the services. So
That's good.
for that. So other than that, there's nothing out of the ordinary for the payroll warrant. So.
I move that we accept this warrant, 14,433.64.
Second.
Seconded. Laura, you got that both? Okay,
Okay.
since no other questions, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Yep, heard that, Matthew. Thank you. All right, Doug?
Okay, so warrant, I combined late November and December because there really wasn't a lot
Mm-hmm.
in the late November warrant. Lori and I did a small warrant prior to Thanksgiving week, and there really wasn't much that came in that couldn't wait until today prior to that. So the couple of large items are on there. We have the VLCT property and casualty. That is actually due in January, since we received it, and it would be due before our meeting in January, we're paying it. We do not have the breakdown from them as far as each department as of yet. It's gonna be coming, and then I'll have the breakdown as a portion of that gets refunded to the village on a quarterly basis from the water department. But we pay the full bill and then we get reimbursed for a portion. So right now I don't have that exact breakdown. And then the other MSK engineer
Yeah.
was a bill for the Welling Field that I'm gonna look at. That is the amount that they have. So we're gonna double check. I'm going to double check to make sure that there wasn't that, because we have paid a couple of smaller bills to MSK, so we want to make sure that it wasn't a
Yeah.
duplicate. But that is the amount that's on there, so we're gonna, match that up with some of the other ones that we may have had. And it may be the correct amount because they did do a tremendous amount of work over there. This is for the bulk of the project. Other than that, everything is pretty straightforward. There's really nothing else out of the ordinary.
What's the McWaters part? Bill, what was that?
So that is, in the last budget, we started to dedicate $500 for folks to clean it, do, the tables, maintenance and things like that. So that's what that's for.
This is, yeah,
Okay.
it's for the group that maintains the park,
What's Viking Cities?
so.
That's not the highway department.
No, it is not. It is the volunteer group that maintains the park. They have their own account,
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
and they
Viking
do.
Hive is a highway department fence. Viking Hive was a question.
Thank you, yeah, thank you. Fives, sure.
Yeah, so that's highway fencing. Tara was asking.
Oh,
about
okay.
I asked about
Viking.
Okay, sorry, I didn't
Nope,
hear that.
no
We
problem.
were answering Ray's question. Ray, did that answer your question?
Yeah, just, I've never seen them, so.
No,
What?
this budget was the first year that they requested, if you remember, Cinda Morse, I believe, sent a nice letter in. It's that group of folks.
Okay, yep,
You know them because
I know
you've done work with them and you built that nice,
which I need to
kiosk.
get help getting it down because I gotta repair it.
oh, well, maybe we can,
No,
Do that.
there was vandalism.
oh, no,
That happened last
okay.
spring.
You know what? I'm sure Norm can help you do that.
Well, I'm gonna wait till the ground's frozen,
Oh, okay,
because it's gonna require the tractor with.
Okay.
forks.
okay. Well, I know Norm would help with that because the,
Yeah, no. I figured it was.
the volunteers there, they always send a nice thank you
Yeah.
and how much they appreciate the village's help with the highway
Yeah, So,
department.
so
to keep
that's
that done.
basically the permaculture.
Yes, exactly, Ray. Thank you. That's the word. Yes. Any other questions then?
On
Do
the,
see that.
I had a quick.
Yeah.
A question on the MSK.
Yes,
They're also doing the, Hall Street.
yes,
And was there a Park Street also that they're doing or no?
not currently,
Not currently.
no,
But they
okay.
are doing the intersection.
right.
Oh, and the
traffic
intersection down here. Yeah. So, it would be nice if that wasn't all lumped together and we got separate.
It is.
Yeah.
So if you, the warrant detail has it in there.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, this bill is specifically.
You haven't gone over it completely yet.
Well, so what happened was they sent us an email that said there was a delinquent bill from late September. So when we received that, they said it was for the Wellingfield project. They were very clear in the designation. So now we're gonna get a breakdown of the exact portion, because their bill says Wellingfield.
Okay.
So that's
All right,
where.
so it wouldn't be Hall Street or
No.
anything else.
We
Okay.
have received and paid bills for the other two projects.
Right.
Okay.
For the original design, well.
We have, right, and that's what I'm saying, right, we have
This is
already paid a few
the
smaller
redesign.
portions.
Yes.
Right, so this very well could be perfectly, this is what they had after the last time we paid. Because we did not pay this exact amount, and we paid nowhere near this amount if I lumped everything together. We were in like the 4,000 to 5,000 range.
That's what I thought. yeah.
So
Okay.
this very well could just be, but we want to make sure to get the breakdown, so.
And there was not a matching, already paid invoice for that either. I checked into that, Doug. So likely it's correct.
I agree, because I couldn't find anything, so I just wanted to double check and make sure that there wasn't like a small bill that got lumped in.
But it would be nice to know what it was actually for.
Yep, and they'll get it to us, yeah, they're good about it.
Yeah.
Wrong.
It's,
I think it's
They
the
will-
relayout and.
yeah, they
and
will,
Maybe did they set up the points of reference for leveling?
they did.
Yeah, they did all
And they
of that.
provided the CAD file.
Yeah, no,
And all of
Oh, yeah.
that was probably the expensive.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
agreed.
Okay. Questions on any other of those expenses? Seeing none, may we have a motion on that?
I'll make the motion that we approve the warrant.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, Laura, you got that, Ray and Tara? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Matthew, I heard that too. Okay, Doug, keep going.
Okay, yeah, I have, several items. I'll do the smaller ones first. I'll do the budget last.
Okay,
The first item is the delinquent taxes. So for the minutes, I'll go over the amounts. The email was sent out, so we'll need a motion, for the delinquent amount to be collected is as of the close of the tax billing, when it was considered on time versus late, was 169,105.63. For comparison, that is down from last year. At that time, it was 179,607.17. And as of 12/7, this year, we were down to 96,389.52. So we need the motion for the current amount to be directed for collection.
I will make such a motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Tara. Assuming no other questions, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
And Doug, had you mentioned that a significant portion of that has since been paid?
Yes, that's so we're down to the 96.
All right.
Yeah, so we started at 169 and change,
Mm-hmm.
and then now as of the other
Okay.
day, and I've gotten a couple other checks in the last few days, so we're even a little bit below
Okay.
that. We're probably down to right around 90,000.
And I'm just for, in case public questions, since we get one tax bill, that is the municipal amount that you're looking at, correct? Not inclusive of the school?
No, this is everything now.
That
We
isn't,
pay,
okay.
yeah, because this
So
is,
that's right, because
Yeah,
we paid
we
the,
are paying in
everything.
full.
Okay,
Yeah, which is gonna be my
That's a
next
change
statement,
then.
but yes.
Okay.
So that is all taxes delinquent. Because at this point, well, once I make my next
Right.
statement, that is
Got
what the village is
Okay.
collecting.
Yeah, so the state sends you a demand like that for you to process this? I've never seen that before, so.
Well, no, we have to have a delinquent warrant in case it goes to court, basically is
Right.
what happens.
But you're authorized by the state to
Correct.
pursue this.
Yes.
Right, but it has to be from my understanding,
yeah.
right, have to be in the minutes and then there's a warrant
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
created.
okay, great.
Yep.
And-
But right, I'm
and-
directed to
yes.
collect.
And-
Correct.
and the letter goes from the treasurer to the delinquent tax collector, which in the case of North Bennington is one and the same
Same
person.
person.
So you write the letter to yourself from yourself. So,
Doug,
Yes.
is it best to have the 169,105.63 as the delinquent amount, since that was the amount delinquent after taxes? Is that the amount you want? in the motion?
100% correct, yes. Yeah, because that is the amount that I have to show on that delinquent warrant, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the explanation.
Sure, no, we're good. And those totals, just to be clear, right, so when I compared to last year, that's inclusive of
Yeah.
both also. So we're comparing apples to apples.
Right.
Whereas last year, we would have only been talking about the village, but since we're doing both now,
Right.
I wanted to be able to compare apples to apples.
Yeah, okay, good,
So-
thank you.
Yep. And as of this week, the 2 checks will be going, to the Mount Anthony Union High School District and the North Bennington Graded School District, for those payments. If you remember in November, I did, pay out 200,000 to the school district, which typically happens until everything settles. So the remaining to the school, is a little over, right around 900,000, and to, Mount Anthony is about 800,000, so it's 1.7 million total
Mhm.
that is going to the schools. And then, like I said, the remaining collection, all will stay within the village
Mhm.
going forward.
We thank you.
yes.
Yes. 2 other minor items before I jump into the budget. We did receive thank you cards from the Sage City Symphony and Turning Point for donations throughout the year.
Did we true up? Because remember, didn't we talk about one time, there was a percentage of that?
We will have
Amount.
one more because we actually,
Are we gonna,
back in,
Okay.
I think it was September, I actually received 2 more small checks.
oh, okay,
So
So
I'm
we'll
kind
treat
of
that-
waiting just to make sure, we'll do it before June 30th.
perfect,
And then we'll pay out whatever the balance is from those items.
Good.
And then that'll hopefully be done going forward. I
good,
looked it up online and I think they said this year, meaning 2024, everything should be paid out. So
okay,
if we wait till, close to the end of our fiscal year, we should be good to go.
okay.
Okay, so budget, I did send out the email with the recommendation, and I'm just gonna bring it up on my screen. And then I'll share it. I'll go over it briefly, because there was very minimal changes, that I'm recommending, going forward. So let me just share my.
It's the working budget, 25, 26.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that is correct, right? And
Yep, you're coming up.
Okay,
Yep, there you are.
Um. So. Um. So in the general government, really the only item to talk about is the emergency planning reserve. If you remember, the request was at 15,000. When I started to work through things, and, you know, talking through things and discussions that were made at the meeting, it looks like 7,500 is the better starting place. Like I said, the concern is 15,000 makes it our third highest reserve to start from scratch. There's still a number of steps, like we were talking about, Mary had discussed also. So it is very important to start it. So our starting point in this budget would be 7,500. And then we can kind of figure it out going forward from there. Fire department, the one minor change, there was an increase of $1,000 that was put within the officer and drill pay. Public works, the discussion with Mark Boudreau, we kept everything as is there. Highway, there were no changes after the discussion. Grants, I did speak to Mary. Because right now, some of those grant expenses were baked into that 100,000 for overall highway. And not knowing the grants themselves, we didn't want to break it out.
Yeah.
So, there will likely be grant expense / grant income, but we left it within that highway. So it is baked in there. And then the payments to other organizations, there was a handful of increases that were discussed and everybody seemed amendable to them, and that was the Park McCullough House, the McCullough Library, Sage City Symphony, which had already been discussed, and then the tree committee. Other expenses, the insurance, again, like I said, I did the math, that number that I had in there actually should be pretty darn close to what our increase was. Once we factor in the portion we paid from the water department. So that leaves us with total expenditures. So the motion that we would be looking for is the total budget in the amount of $841,987 to be presented in the annual report for vote by the residents.
Which is pretty comparable to last year.
Yes, and last year there was the grant kind of makes it look different than it is.
Yeah.
So while it does show a actual decrease to the budget because of those grant funds, it's not really apples to apples. So yes, and so the number that we landed on, if this budget were to be approved and no negative fund balances, the increase to the taxes would be 6.39%, which is less than the year before.
Yep.
And it's actually the lowest in 3 years, I believe. I don't have
It
that
is.
right.
The last year was 2022-23 that had slightly higher.
Right, and it was very comparable. So basically, within the last 4 years, this is
Very
dead
average.
even with the smallest
Yeah.
increase. So it's a very responsible, very reasonable budget. And the increases that we talked about line by line in the last were all made sense and fit within what we were looking for.
At this point, I believe, but let's make sure that any stakeholder in this has been able to have a say. We've contacted all of the other agencies. We've heard from all the departments. Thank you so much. And to Chief Myers for all your time putting that highway department together. So what questions might people have?
Or a motion.
Or are you, hold on, somebody's coming in.
Oh, that's
I have a question.
Yes, Robert.
I have a question about the discrepancy in the legal fees. With certain, I think 5,000, up at the top of the page. And it came in much higher than anticipated, I guess. And I just wondered what that was about.
That
Legal
was-
fees, 5,000 and then 24,000.
That was a year ago.
What was that
Yeah.
for? Why
Yeah,
was such an
that-
increase?
We're just
Yeah, that was 2023.
2023. There
Right,
were,
fiscal year ending 2024. Right. And
there
I
were
think
just some
that was-
legal issues that the village had to encounter.
Okay, I'm just curious. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Combination of different matters. This year is pretty much on budget, as far as we know.
So far, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Any other questions? Do trustees feel that you would like more time to study this?
I see that it conforms with what we were talking about last week for the most part, and it, looking year to year at the breakdown, local
Mhm.
share, whatever the tax rate looks
Mhm.
reasonable.
Mhm.
So I would say, I would make a motion to approve this year's budget. This coming year.
I would second that. I
Okay,
think,
let's
you
make-
guys you make a great team.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to watch, actually, because, you really seem to have every nickel and dime accounted for.
Certainly try, that's for sure.
Yes, we do. Let's make sure, Matthew, did you have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Negative.
Okay, thank you. Ray, how about you? You're still studying. I
Yeah.
don't want to make you feel rushed.
Okay, so
So the 6% increase, 6+ increase that you're talking about
Mhm.
shows up in tax rate. There in
Well, 'cause-
yellow block,
Yes.
1.107
Yes.
versus 1.042. Okay.
Right, yeah, that's the year over year, I just don't have that share.
And that is assuming that we have no fund balance, either positive or negative.
Right, positive obviously
Right.
would improve that,
Yes.
negative
Yes.
would increase.
Yes,
And again, like we're saying right now, it doesn't appear there's gonna be anything major, you know,
Right.
we're not gonna be at zero, obviously, for
Yeah.
everything, but there's nothing we foresee at this point in time that would create a major fund balance, either positive or negative.
Okay. Well, given the times, that's pretty reasonable. I mean,
so that motion and second is on the table.
further discussion?
No, as long as Ray is satisfied, I don't want anybody to feel they should be rushed through this. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
all right.
All right, that's unanimous. Thank you so much, Doug. This is
Absolutely.
an enormous amount of work for those who
Oh, yeah.
I think you already know. So
And
you
then-
have one other.
Yeah, the last piece is for the copier. I sent out the information and I'm just gonna pull it up. I stopped sharing my screen, but I'm gonna pull it
Any
up.
questions?
Yep, exactly. So that, bear with me for just a second. Okay, so, the copier is going to be, black and white and color. It will be based here at the depot. It is a 5-year lease. The projected amount on a monthly basis, which covers the leased hardware and the monthly service, is $113.48. Which if you remember, actually within this budget, we had approved a new copier. And I did make sure that calculation was brought into the new, now that we know approximately, and I did go a little higher, just in case, you know, by the time we get everything settled in. So that is what we're looking at. I did mention, and I will bring this up for, the minutes. A resident has, offered a additional copier, which I'm working with that resident to see if it is something that we can get. I have to touch base with them again. But what we're going to hopefully do is use that in conjunction with the new one.
Yep.
So whether it's one possibly that goes upstairs for zoning, so Chris doesn't always have to come up and down. If it's too big to be able to go up there, we might use water department or highway. Because right now, everybody pretty much uses a glorified home copier.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but Mary and I did discuss it, and we felt that because this is a color, and there's more and more that's gonna need to be printed in color for packets and things like that, that it is a worthwhile investment, not just for the village, but for departments, the zoning department, committees,
Right.
DRB, those types
Right.
that, may use the copier here at the depot. So
Yeah.
that is, what we're looking to go forward with.
And we can have people with your own laptops come in and print your meeting materials.
Absolutely.
Doug will show us how to link up to that
Yeah,
thing.
it'll be
Just
set up
come
as,
on
it'll be
in.
set up as wireless.
So, I don't see it mentioned, ink supply, is that something that comes with it, or
So-
are you paying for them?
What I understand is it comes with a supply and then the reorder we pay for.
Yeah.
But two things are going to happen. One, the size of it for what we use, we're not going to have to replace that toner very frequently. The gentleman that I'm working with has 17 other municipalities around the state that he works with. So he has a very good handle on what they use. His first question to me was, do you have land records? Because that, you automatically have to go up a size because of the size of the copies that the land records have to use.
Okay,
So we don't have to do that.
okay,
So he felt that while this doesn't cover the toner, the amount that we'll have to pay when a toner needs to be replaced is gonna be minimal compared to what it is. And I did go higher, like I said, than this
Yeah.
monthly rate to include,
Right.
when we will need to purchase toner. And we already purchased, certain amount of paper anyway, Lori does, and there's paper here already.
Yeah.
So that really won't change anything.
So leasing, we end up paying about $6,700. What does this thing retail?
Over 8,000.
Okay. And at the end of the lease, we
Get a new
then just lease a different one and a
Yep.
newer,
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly, and that is the other big advantage,
Okay.
is you can, it's just like leasing the car. You can always, right, they come and get the old one, you decide, did this work? They give us the newer model and whatever the new rate is. And if we're not happy with the new rate at the end of it, then
Yeah.
we make a decision at that point in time.
Okay.
And, again, he bases the lease based on the lifespan of the copier, what he feels we're going to use. And again, like I said, I feel comfortable knowing, he services other businesses in town, so he's not somebody that's not familiar with, the Bennington area. And like I said, he has, he was very happy to say 17 other municipalities that he works with.
yeah, so there's no charge per copy.
Nope,
The only cost is the toner plus the leasing, and
Yeah.
they maintain the machine,
correct. If something breaks, then it's covered under the lease. Yeah.
right?
Now-
Unless somebody kicks it, then you have. a
So-
different-
And then there's this set of responsibilities that they list in here, which include training. Who's gonna be trained?
Well, so what I'm going to try to do is when he's gonna come here, I'm going to send out emails to
Mhm.
all of the trustees, to zoning, to the core people, and he'll be here. I don't know if it'll be him personally, but somebody within the company
Yeah.
that sets it up that will be here.
Yeah.
If somebody can't be here, then there will be more than a couple of people that will know how to set it up.
Let's make
And he'll-
sure. Oh, no, go ahead.
He'll set up all the basic
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So it will be here, it will be hooked up to the Wi-Fi, we'll probably list right on that, cause it'll have a printer name.
Yeah.
So you can hook up to it, so where our Wi-Fi list is, it'll say printer name. So if you're here with your laptop, should be able to choose the printer and connect right to it.
Let's
Okay.
make sure that we get the fire department included in
Yeah,
that. Because
absolutely.
I know they use a laptop. I don't know what they need to print, but in case they did.
Yep, absolutely.
Might as well.
Absolutely
Yeah.
include them.
Okay. And the water department, in case we don't use the big one for that, the other big one, if that doesn't work, they can come print their quarterly bills.
Yes, I'll let Zach,
Okay.
Steve and Vicky,
Good.
those will be the three
Good.
main ones
Yeah.
for the water
Yeah,
that would wanna be involved.
this is a huge step forward. Thank you for that. I'm sure Chris will be just as elated as anyone. So you've been asking for this for a while. Apologies for the slowness, but thank you
I
again.
had
for
one
all your
other-
work on that.
A quick question, that 113.48, is that a fixed rate for the whole 5 years?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's $125 fee
One
for
time, yeah.
documentation.
right, the implementation of everything, yeah.
Right. And
It's like a really great deal. Like,
yeah, I think it is too.
I think it is.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, the gentleman I've been working with has been great, he answered a few questions that I had right away. And asked a number of questions to fit us into the right one, he didn't just say, oh yeah, we've got this great one. He asked a number of questions about who was gonna use it, how often, those types of things, so I did my best to project what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
Tailoring it to our needs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what are user boxes and mailboxes?
So what a user box is so you can set up a box on the printer that would have your name on it. So there'll be a touch screen on it. So it'll say Ray N, for example. So if you're sitting out here and you print and there's a number of people in the room and you don't want them to pick up your copies, you print it, then you go in and push your box and you print it from that box. So it wouldn't automatically print it, it saves it in what's called a printer box.
So if we were in an office environment, you don't lose your document or no one else is seeing something that's a secure document.
Exactly, yeah. So, and that doesn't have to be used,
No.
but it's a nice option to have. And it's somewhat of a standard on, like Mary said, an office style printer.
Huge
Doug?
improvement.
Yes,
You may have already said this and I spaced it, but, there's a scanner on this top here.
absolutely.
Yay,
Color.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, it has to have a scanner. There's a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the bigger reasons why we're looking this route is the color, the scanning, those types of things.
So are we looking for a motion?
Yes.
To approve,
Forward?
yeah, and move forward, because then I can fill out the paperwork and.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
We had a lot of discussion. Thank you once again. That is a huge improvement.
That's all I have.
Okay, then Miss Emily is on here. So we are going to move to Emily Maiku. I'm sorry if I'm not saying your last name correctly.
That is right.
Okay, well, Emily, go ahead. Please present your request.
Hi, first I'd like to say I apologize for my camera being off, having some technical difficulties. I'm sure we've all been there. But just to give a little introduction about me before I get into my proposal. My name's Emily. I'm a current senior at Mount Anthony Union High School. I actually went to village school when I was in elementary, so excited to see some familiar faces here. And I'm here on behalf of the Vermont Student Anti-Racism Network, which is a Vermont-based nonprofit focused on made up of students throughout the state, focused on working towards anti-racism throughout Vermont and its institutions. We've been in operation for around 5 years, and we've worked with a lot of schools like the Village School and Mount Anthony. And I'm here because we were hoping to request using, I guess, Main Street of North Bennington for a festival that we're hoping to organize during Black History Month. And I think this festival, just to get into a little more details about it, would kind of center around like various booths, including like local businesses and restaurants, displaying their food or work and kind of highlighting Black-owned businesses in Vermont to give them sort of a light during, Black History Month. And we're kind of hoping for this event to be not only like highlighting Black-owned businesses, but also a way for the community to get together. And we also plan to have some children's programming with authors of picture books related to Black history. And hopefully we're trying to get some music and stuff as well. So I guess this is all kind of outlined in the proposal. But what we are is initially, what we are intending to propose is just using Main Street for the festival. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
And that is Sunday, February 23rd from about 10 to 2, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Need time before, a day before? Do you need any setup or breakdown or anything else?
As of right now, our current plan is to get volunteer students from MAU to set up and clean up, and also to get members from our own organization to come out and also help with the setup and cleanup of the booths and the festival as a whole.
Would this require a traffic to be diverted and a road shut down? Or is
Yes.
this? It does, okay. So we need to make sure that our fire department and our highway department can accommodate this.
Mayor, sure want to talk to Milton because there is sections of Main Street because it's a state road that cannot get shut.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so Emily, are we talking just like the part in front of Pangea and Powers around our little roundabout circle in the middle? Or are you talking full on like Water Street, Main Street?
We were initially thinking the street in front of Pangea and like around the fountain.
Okay, that would probably be more available because state roads can't be shut down very easily.
Okay.
So that clarifies something that I was gonna ask.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is gonna be in February, but you're gonna have booths outside?
Yes. We're hoping to plan it. We're hoping the 23rd is a good day. I think that we definitely need to discuss a bit more of the logistics of this, but we're hoping that we're providing hot chocolate and kind of making it a fun outside winter event.
Okay, and then have you collaborated with the college at all? Because I'm sure that you would get members of the college that would be interested in participating, though they may not be back until late February in general. But you may have some support there as well.
Actually, we haven't thought about that, so I'll definitely look into that suggestion.
And have you talked about to Pangea itself and Towers? Well, it's same
All of the
operation.
businesses there.
No, but our next step was going to be to reach out to those businesses to kind of just loop them in on the communication about the festival.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is just phase one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just kind of an initial step.
Just a feasibility here.
Yeah.
Because you'll want to talk to the library,
Yeah.
and things like that too. So,
Also potentially the North Bennington Round Table, which
Yeah.
participates in, it's basically all of the businesses in town are on that email, and could potentially support you or help you find resources like the music and other Black-owned businesses that you're looking for.
the Vermont Arts Exchange, Matthew Perry would be a good contact.
We have some good ones too, yeah.
So it sounds like, this sounds like a good idea to us.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, one question I have, is Upper Main part of the state highway
Yes.
above?
Yeah, so I think basically what Nick did last year is kind of what she'll have to do,
Yeah.
is that stretch in front of Powers down to Mechanic. Because if
Yeah.
you go any
Okay.
of the other pieces, it's considered the state.
State highway.
So, yeah, you have to have a really good reason to.
So that's 67A continues.
But we can, Emily, we could set up a meeting, with our highway superintendent Norm and one of us trustees and, or another volunteer.
The location.
Yeah, and take a look at specifically what would work.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Are you looking to have this answer next week?
I think having it before the next 2 weeks would be
Okay.
great, because we definitely want to get started on contacting some Black-owned businesses that we haven't already worked with in the past.
All right, so what if since I have your email, how
Mhm.
about if I see if I can get you and Norm in touch with each other? I'll include a couple of the other trustees in case this can get set up in the next week or so, and we'll see who can be available to go help with that.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I commend you and your students for your co-students for thinking community-wide.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions from trustees?
Do we need to, take a vote on this?
I will defer
I
to
don't-
Lori whether we need a vote
No,
on this or
not
it's
yet.
just exploratory.
Yeah, it's just exploratory. And
Okay.
I personally know Emily and how hard she must have worked to get this together. Great job, Emily.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, it's great.
indeed.
We think so too.
Yes, we totally agree. So we are, I think we are unanimously in support of seeing how we can help you make this work.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so
I'm
much. And
getting
if
lots of nods over here.
and if anybody has any more questions, feel free to reach out with my email. I'm happy to answer any of them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.
All right. Feel free to stay or go. Now we will work on, okay, then, next would be the fire. I just want to mention one thing for the fire department. We got an email, or many of us did, from Dara Zink on the, REMC, the Regional Emergency Management Commission. We have two assigned or, appointed members of the REMC, in Norm LeBlanc and Ed Myers. I assume that, well, they must be getting these same emails. I do not know who goes to the meetings, but Dara sent out a reminder that there is a 2024 Assistant to Firefighters grants, which is almost $300 million to enhance the safety of the public and firefighters nationwide against fire-related deaths and hazards. The application period on this closes Friday, December 20th, which isn't a long time away, but I'm wondering if there is a trustee who might be so inclined to contact Mr. Myers and see whether there is something that the village could do, because we know the fire department could certainly use assistance if it's there, and see whether there's anything in this grant that we could apply for. Asking for volunteers. Well, let's not all yell at yes at once, but do think about it, and it'd be a shame that if there are grants available that we don't even try. That's all I'm saying. Water Department, Mr. Goodrich will be here in probably half an hour or so, so we'll defer on that. DRB, anything to add on DRB?
Nothing this month.
Nothing this month. Okay. Planning Commission. Kim Hall, co-chair of planning. Can you take it away?
We don't meet in December, but we're planning to have a meeting tomorrow with the dam safety group and VTrans concerning safety of the dam, and writing a emergency action report, which is woefully out of date for that for the dam. And they canceled the meeting because of the storm that's hopefully or presumably coming through tomorrow. So the dam safety group could not meet. And so the meeting will have to be rescheduled. And that will likely take us into the new year, would be my guess.
I was gonna ask you that, because Scott would like to be part of that meeting too, but I don't know if they'd even be able to regroup in time for next week. So should we just propose back to Tyga to do something after the week of the 6th, between the 6th and 10th of January?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. Okay, do you think that works for you,
Yes,
Scott?
yes, that would work.
Okay.
Do you want me
And
to contact her or will you?
if you could do that, that would be lovely.
Sure, I'll do
And
that.
If you include, then in that, our fire department and Norm. Norm would like to be part of this meeting.
Okay,
And that we can let them know that way when communication goes back and forth, if there is a schedule set, then everybody will know it.
Okay.
Okay.
we did meet with the school, but that meeting was discussed last trustee meeting. So I think we're up to date with the trustees.
Well, we did not, last meeting, we did not vote on, that I saw, unless I missed it. We did not, yeah, we did not make the motion, we did not approve pursuing a memorandum of understanding with the village school. We made the motion to start a new
Reserve.
reserve, but not to actually work on pursuing the memorandum of understanding with the village school. So I think this meeting, we were hoping to do that. Now that we actually have a reserve and at least some funds set aside for that reserve, we are also, Kim and I are also going to be working with the fund for North Bennington after the holidays and seeing if there is a small grant that can help us with some of the planning and engineering that might be needed for that. But
yeah, Mary, I've reached out to Vermont engineers in Rutland to get an electrical engineer to give us a quote on doing a study of what needs to happen at the school.
Excellent.
So he was too busy to be able to respond this week, but he said hopefully next week he'll be able to contact me and we can map a path forward for doing that study. It's just getting a price for the trustees and then potentially contacting the Fund for North Bennington for a grant to help with that cost.
So if we're going to even expend anything, we should then look for, which I'm happy to make the motion, that the village of North Bennington will develop a memorandum of understanding with the village school to create a gathering site for certain weather emergencies.
Right, and the village school principal said that they had done this before a number of times and that they have a template for a memorandum of understanding. So I think we can start with their template and go from there.
Yes, and I think once the village approves this venture, then it can go and the Prudential Committee can do likewise.
Yep.
Okay, so that would be the motion I'd be happy to make.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Scott. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of developing that memorandum of understanding? Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. We get to move on. Kim, is there anything else?
No, I'm going to be meeting with Tim tomorrow afternoon.
Okay,
And I could ask him if he has a template.
that would be lovely, Ray.
And I could let you know, let you and Kim know.
That would be terrific.
Well, the whole board.
Yes,
Plus Kim.
right. And then we can pursue that jointly with trustees and the planning commission.
I just have to remember to do
Okay.
it.
Can't count on my memory to remind you.
Yeah,
Sorry about
mine's
that.
getting spotty about that stuff too.
Okay. If nothing else there, does anyone have any old business to be transacted or added? No. Under new business, I just wanted to ask Tara if there was anything you wanted to mention as part of the roundtable on the Winterfest.
We're having a Winterfest. I
Thank
believe
you.
it is
Yeah.
on January. I believe it is on January, stand by. 25th, Saturday, January 25th. Many local participants will be participating.
Could you contact Lucy and see if she could maybe put that nice notice up on our website?
Yeah.
That'd be good. Then our other people can see it.
Coming soon, man.
Starting to bother me.
And
There's a banner that they put out.
Yeah.
I am going to see if I can contact,
Um,
I'm gonna see if I can send a message to Goodrich.
Can
Can
you step outside? Try to call.
Good. Do you have his number? Yeah, yeah, okay. I did tell him to come by 8:15, but I thought some of our other business would be going quicker.
So going back to the
Yes,
fire department stuff, what do you have to look at there? Is there something?
I will send you the email that Dara, Zink
Okay.
sent to us. And then if you are able to look at this, there's a link here for all
Okay.
the kind of stuff thank you, that would be. I mean, maybe it's hard to get these things together in a short amount of time, but at the very least, we could say we tried.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate that greatly, Ray.
I did, while you guys were
Yeah.
chatting a minute ago, I was looking at the parameters and the application checklist.
Yeah,
You need a budget from the fire department for 2 years. You need to be a part of the SAM, and I can't remember what the SAM is now, but it's like something.
Yeah, we're all a part of that.
You are, okay, that's good. That was the first question on the application.
yes.
So,
Okay, yes, we have a SAM number.
do they have an operating budget that they can include in the?
Well, we have
You
Yeah.
have
our
no
Our budget.
yeah,
we keep track of their work, okay.
yeah. Then that's the part
That
of
little,
it,
okay, okay, then it looks pretty straightforward.
Oh, okay, thank you. So,
Some of the questions just have to be answered from them, like fatalities and injuries from the past year and whatnot. But it's the week and a half timeframe that's challenging.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And maybe Ed has been going to these meetings as one of the representatives, so he may already know, and he may already be able to say, this is not something that we can do. I don't know. I don't wanna make any guesses
Right.
on that subject.
Can't pledge.
No, I don't. And you know, sometimes I get a little concerned that we ask a lot of people's time. So I really don't want to try to commit somebody to something that maybe is not convenient for them. Okay, anything
Well,
else?
yeah, maybe it's, doesn't require so much from him, just.
Yeah.
requires the
Well, it'd be nice if we
I-
could get the updated fire gear, like if we got enough money. for
Yeah.
updated Fire gear.
Yeah.
For the coming,
Or
That is expensive.
Yes.
yeah, we're looking at 25,000, 50,000.
Yeah, something like that.
I just had a thought that I meant to put in here. We should be, this body should think about, because in another month, we all have to send reports to Lori. And rather than Lori be after us for getting information for the annual report, we need to have a dedication. And so we need to pick a worthy applicant. I think, Greg, you and I were talking after the last meeting,
Hmm.
about
Has anyone else?
a worthy
in the past
applicant. I
year?
don't know. But Matthew, you might have a suggestion here. We need a member of the community to dedicate. One thought was Bob Howe.
Yes,
Um,
that'd be my
Yeah.
first thought.
yeah, that was, you had mentioned that to me last time. But we should think about, and perhaps even while we're waiting for Steve, come up with that dedication and who will write it, which will not be me because I'll be writing the annual report.
I would agree with Bob Howe, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's going to appear in the school district's report.
Could
So,
we use the same dedication?
if I get it together, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll
Is
I
this
should come up with something. and see.
people in our community that have passed away, or specifically people that have?
They don't have
contributed
to be
the community
deceased,
stuff?
but-
They don't have to be deceased because we did Chief Myers a couple years ago.
It's been a mix, yeah.
Mhm.
That's right.
I just know.
But Bob was so influential and was on so many of our committees.
Yeah.
He just did such a tremendous amount.
Is he on the planning commission?
Yes, he was.
Yes. I thought so.
I don't know if, Mrs. Wallace sent, who just passed recently.
Oh, I didn't know she passed.
She did.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh. Oh, sorry for the family, but, no, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Matthew, if you have any thoughts on that subject also.
Not at the moment. Obviously, Bob,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
is,
Well, Lori, I don't suppose that needs a formal motion. I suppose we just need to get something to you.
Well, I would welcome,
Yeah, you don't need to make a motion for that. That's up to you.
but I would welcome thoughts from any of the board members, any of the trustees,
Okay.
and anybody else you want to suggest that I should talk to. I know there was plenty of material printed about Bob.
Yeah.
And I have my own personal experiences, but other people have much more experience with him than I do.
All right. So let's all pitch in and help Ray on that thing. And Lori, do you have, time in mind that you would like all of our reports?
Usually I ask for them by the first week in January, the second at
Okay.
the latest. Some people have already sent me theirs, just
Okay.
because now they're used to it and they don't want me to
Yeah.
ask.
Do you need any contacts from us for people who might, I know the McWaters folks, I emailed with them yesterday and they will be getting a report to you.
Oh, terrific. No,
Yeah.
I think we're good. I have contacts for most everyone now, I believe.
Okay. Do we need a formal report from the planning commission?
We have always had a planning commission report, a zoning report,
Okay.
DRB.
Okay. Because I don't
I
remember the
actually,
planning
I
commission
think,
doing much.
Chris Damon has been great
Yeah.
about sending me a lot of reports. And he sent it early. He's really good. Is he still here?
Yes, Chris is here.
Okay, hi, Chris.
Chris is saying he will send you DRB and zoning.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. And then we'll work.
Permits ever stop coming in.
Oh, if the permits ever stop coming in. Oh, well.
Okay. I don't know if you all have been on the other side of the depot and upstairs, but the art show is pretty amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad you got to see that.
Upstairs?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the Bennington
They were over
college
there.
students who has an exhibit in the art show works for me. And so I went up on Sunday and it was
Yeah.
attended and they're really pretty interesting.
Just this evening, I saw a nice email, thank you email from John Umflett for letting, the students use that. And I'll tell you publicly, a huge thank you to Matthew Perry for helping out there as well. Because, Matthew made it very easy for the students to go and do things. We as trustees needed to do very little, so. And I'm sure they've left that place nice and clean.
Yeah, they wrapped it up.
Yeah,
It's kind of nice having them up there.
Yeah.
So it goes like easy thoughts.
All right.
You guys all have a nice.
okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Good
All
to
right,
see you.
and
I think
Steve,
just pulled-
he just pulled in, okay.
All right.
So when Steve comes in, he will request, that we enter executive session. There will likely be a motion to be made after that executive session.
Can we go into it before he walks in the door? Or-
Actually, there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the motion is that we need to enter executive session to discuss a personnel matter, disclosure of which would put the water department at some disadvantage, premature disclosure.
Make so motion. Who's so moved?
So moved by Tara, I'll second
Second.
that, or seconded by Ray here.
So
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to put Cat TV in the waiting room.
Yes.
Recording
Okay.
in progress.
All right, so we have exited, the executive session and we are awaiting a motion.
I move that we appoint, Chris Damon to the Water Board,
To the Board of Water Commissioners,
to
thank
the
you.
Board of Water Commissioners.
Okay,
I'll second that.
seconded by Ray. All in favor, because we have discussed.
Aye.
Aye. Am I hearing Matthew?
No, I'll abstain.
Oh, Matthew is abstaining. Okay. All right,
I'm concerned
So-
about the gentleman's agreement clause that was brought up, with respect to the charter, and that's, I think Chris is a great choice, but we don't have a gentleman's agreement about how that works, so.
okay. That is something then I think that we should pursue that line of inquiry at another meeting,
That's fine.
or that concern. Okay. Then we are looking for,
Motion to adjourn.
8:25, a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, that was quick. I shouldn't even ask because I know it's all in favor, but I will anyway. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, so happy holidays, everyone. Oh, Ray wants to stay. All right. Thank you.